In today's video, we're talking about how you can fall in love with your fitness routine. In the last couple of years, I've really turned things around with my health and fitness. When I graduated college and started working full-time, I gained about 30 pounds. I was just really neglecting my health and I felt terrible. I did manage to crawl out of that hole, and here was the really interesting thing. For so long, I thought I needed to just grit my teeth, wake up early, get my workouts in, even if I hated them. I needed to follow the perfect optimized training protocols. I needed to eat super clean every day, even if the food tasted like cardboard. I needed to use willpower. I needed to be mentally tough, resilient, just push through. And that didn't work for me at all. The secret for me to actually be able to stay consistent on my health journey and be able to lose 30 pounds, get into the best shape of my life, and feel really amazing was finding a way to create a fitness routine that I not only loved, but was genuinely obsessed with, because then I didn't need to force myself into it. It became 1,000 times easier to stick to and stay consistent with when I genuinely loved it. It took me ages to figure these things out, and I've collected all of these tools in my toolkit. Hopefully I can save you some time here. This is how I became obsessed with my fitness routine, and you can too. My first tip is to try something new. Okay, you're watching this video because whatever you're doing right now isn't working, and that is okay. I wasted so much time trying to force myself to do programs and workouts that I just hated. It's probably worthwhile to try a new plan. Switch things up a little. It took me 3 years, I wish I was kidding, 3 years, to find a workout plan I liked that got me good results. But let me just tell you, you don't need to follow a program to get results by any means. And anyone who says that is probably just trying to sell you a program, honestly. But I will say it makes it 100 times easier and faster to get results when you have someone you trust who has done that research and experimentation to find what works, rather than trying to figure it out yourself. It's also just nice to take that mental load off, and it makes it a little bit easier, like reduces that friction when you have to go get your workout session in, when it's already just ready to go for you and you don't have to think about it or come up with it yourself. Write it yourself or use someone else's program. Whatever it is, find something new to try. You know the saying, done is better than perfect? I'm rebranding it a little. Fun is better than perfect. Because in my experience, it genuinely is. I was and still am obsessed with the Huberman Lab podcast, but I used to box myself into only doing the optimized, science-based, like perfect workouts. And honestly, I started to resent working out altogether because they just got a little bit boring and repetitive. It just was dry, to tell you the truth. It was not fun. I realized it wasn't enough to just not hate my routine, like to be able to get through it. I needed to love my workout routine to be able to stick to it. I needed to be obsessed with it. Why do I think it's so important to make your workout routine more fun? First thing, we could all die tomorrow. And what a waste if we spent all this time doing workouts that we hated. But secondly, it becomes infinitely easier to stick to your workout routine instead of needing all that discipline and willpower and mental resilience to get yourself up to do it every day. What if we just did workouts we liked? I know, revolutionary. I spent a long time kind of developing this method and tweaking and trying to figure out what worked for me. There is a way to use science-based optimized training methods, but also have fun and variety and keep it interesting. It's hard to do, and it took me a long time to figure it out, but it's possible. I will say, with finding a workout routine you enjoy, there is definitely a warm-up period. You might not like it instantly. I certainly didn't. I think there are just some people that will never really enjoy exercise, which is okay too, but I'm proof that this can work and it is possible. I used to hate working out and now I love it, and a huge part of that was shifting from something that was perfect or optimized to something that was more fun and enjoyable, and kind of striking that balance. Okay, next is something called the workout menu. I realized over time I enjoyed my fitness routine so much more when I started choosing my workouts based on how much energy I had that day, where I wanted to work out depending on how much time I had, like home versus gym, and how long I had for the session. And I actually brought this aspect into the Ignite workout program because I loved it so much. So rather than following like a strict weekly split or calendar and ignoring how I felt that day, whether I was tired, whether I was high energy, just forcing myself to follow the program, I started to pick my workouts just based on what I felt like I needed that day. Makes it a lot more flexible, allows you to like learn about and listen to your body so much more. I know it's not revolutionary, but thinking of your program as a menu rather than something to follow strictly has made the biggest difference for me. I also stopped feeling quite as burnt out, and I stopped getting sick as often as I had. So I think I was kind of wearing down my body, honestly, by following programs strictly and not kind of like making those adjustments. So My next tip is to romanticize it. I still have days where I'm not in the mood to work out. It happens. A lot less often now than it used to, but it still does happen. And I think the key to being excited about workouts most days has been romanticizing it. And honestly, a little bit of bribery, which we will get into. First thing that I highly recommend is getting caffeinated. For some people, caffeine makes them feel anxious or just doesn't sit well, so obviously skip if that's you. But if not, don't suffer through decaf workouts. Like, trust me, there's no reason to. While you're at it, find a fun flavor of pre-workout. Next thing is making the absolute best workout playlist possible. I'm talking your favorite songs only. I skip songs liberally. Like, if something's not hitting in that moment, skip. For me, music is like one of the easiest motivation tools to help get in the zone. And then of course, classic, a cute gym set. Some days a cute gym set for me is an oversized tee, but it's a cute oversized tee that I like. But just something that you like and you feel good in can make a huge difference. The last thing is something I thought was silly previously, but is actually really nice. I spend like 2 minutes on my hair or my makeup and skincare or whatnot just to like make myself feel a little bit cuter. It's nice. It's genuinely nice to feel good. I mean, there's a lot of mirrors in there. You're looking at yourself. It just makes me feel a little bit better. Makes the whole thing a little bit more fun. The last tool is finding the feel-good zone. I have realized there's this sweet spot where you kind of feel proud of yourself for pushing yourself. You're accomplished, you're a little bit sore, a little tired, but you're happy. The endorphins are pumping, feeling good. But you're not exhausted, sore to the point of being unable to walk, or sick. I spent a lot of time pushing myself too far and telling myself I was weak if I felt exhausted or burnt out and that I just needed to push through it. That was not actually the problem. And it made me resent my fitness routine. It started to feel like a punishment, which genuinely fitness does not have to feel like a punishment. I was genuinely making myself ill. I would get sick like every couple of weeks. I would do these ridiculous 2-hour bike sessions where I would burn like 1,000 calories and just run myself into the ground. I felt like workouts only counted if I left the gym like covered in sweat and totally exhausted. And I used my perfectionism as an excuse to not train if I only had 10 minutes or I had to do a session from home or I had those kind of constraints, as if doing nothing was somehow better than just taking a 5-minute walk. Like, what's that about? Anyway, I think there's this happy medium where you can push yourself an inch past your limits every day, not a mile, because that just won't work after a period of time. It really won't. And for me, that's what actually helped me to stay consistent and love my routine, is finding my limit and going just a tiny bit further, but not like leaps and bounds further, because that led to burnout and these cycles where I would get on the bandwagon and fall off and I couldn't stay consistent. And it's just that's not fun for anybody. I really hope that these tips sparked some ideas for things that you might want to try. The fight to find a fitness routine that you love, it's a good fight. It's worth fighting for. If you'd like to see more from me, make sure to subscribe. I upload new videos every week, and I will see you next time.